Now, I don't know if your grandparents said this shit, but mine definitely did. When they talked about their journey to school, they'd be like, oh, I had to fucking walk 50 fucking miles. The thing about that is they were exaggerating, but not by a lot. And that's why we have Brown v. Board of Education. In many cases that didn't make it to Brown v. Board of Education, a lot of students had to walk some 10 miles just to get to school and 10 miles back. And whilst walking that 10 miles, they walk past dozens of white-only schools half empty. And not to mention, as they're walking, white school buses driving past them half empty as they walk 10 miles just to get an education. So when my grandparents talk about their journey to school, I'd be like, okay, you got it. But my parents, no the fuck you did. Don't lie. Stop lying, motherfucker. You was born in 75. What you lying for? I'm just playing, but no, for real. Grandparents, they had to walk through the fucking Civil War just to get a fucking education. But no, let's talk about Briggs v. Elliott, which is the last case involved in Brown v. Board of Education. If you're new to my page, you should follow me. And this is going to be the last part of this series called The 5 Cases of Brown v. Board of Education. A lot of people don't know that Brown v. Board of Education is actually 5 cases consolidated into one and tried as one case. If you don't know what Brown v. Board of Education is, it's go to my page and click the fucking first video. It'll give you an explanation of what it is. This is about Briggs v. Elliott. Now, the Briggs v. Elliott petition was signed in 1949, but like I said, it was tried later in 1951 in the Brown v. Board of Education case. Actually, it was 1952. My apologies. The thing about Clarendon County is not only is it still extremely racist, it was like how it is now times 10 in the 50s. Black students that live in Clarendon County had to walk up to 7 miles just to get to school, while the city had 30 usable, fully operable buses, but only for white students. Mind you, I'm not talking about like a school building. I'm talking about a literal schoolhouse. These counties, these school boards found abandoned homes and decided to just say, okay, well, we'll just send the kids here. No matter how far it is from their house, no, it don't matter. We just gonna find the next abandoned house, and this is where you go to school. Be grateful. No running water, no windows, no nothing. But at least you got some pretty decent wood on the floors that you shouldn't fall through at least until after school. So with no electricity, no water, no windows, no libraries, no classrooms, these students had to cramp up in these fucking houses, I'm going to call them shacks, in these shacks to go and learn. All because their school board is fucking racist. Anyway, but that came to an end real quick. Now, it started with the black parents requesting just one school bus. They weren't asking for a whole lot. We just need one fucking school bus for our kids. But the county said no. Now, this is when a guy named Reverend Joseph Delaney came in, and he got shit done. He was an educator in the county, and he was also a minister. And he decided to put together a meeting with the NAACP and the Foster brothers. I believe their names was Levi and Hammond. I said the Foster brothers, it's the Pearson brothers. So together, the Pearson brothers, NAACP, and the Reverend, they decided to put a petition together to request just one single fucking bus for black students. The fact that they had to go to court to get a bus is crazy. But they decided, okay, we're just gonna petition for one bus. Like I said, South Carolina racist as fuck, okay? That fucking judge that read that petition or whatever the fuck, however it go, may have been the cousin of the school board member that they asked yesterday. You never know. So, long story short, the shit didn't go too far. And this wasn't unlike the other 4 cases involved with Brown v. Board of Education. Like I told you in the last part of this series, only one of these cases made it, that didn't have to make it to the Supreme Court. Like, they actually were able to get shit done in the lower courts. The rest of them, they had to appeal and make it to the Supreme Court. So, get this. This is why they had to end up fucking dropping their fucking case. One of the lawyers, Levi, his property spanned into 2 counties. He paid taxes for 2 counties, but his home sat on one side of that county line. And he was filing his court case on the other side. Like, even though he was paying taxes in both, his house sat on this side. He was filing a petition in this county over here, and they said that he can't do that because he doesn't live in that county. Although he owns property in that county, and his home sits on that property. But because it's not sitting on that side of that county line, they couldn't proceed to file these charges or to file this petition. So you know what? They didn't stop there, and I don't mean that as in like they just filed a new petition. They said fuck the school bus. We want equal everything. See, I was trying to be graceful, give you niggas some slack, but give me everything. Now the NAACP sends this petition to the community to sign to say, hey, do y'all want equal everything? Do sign here. Now, by the time they had to present this to the courts, they had 107 petition signatures. That was all they needed. But they posted the petitioners' names at the courthouse so that most of those people would be harassed or killed or something. And it's true, a lot of them faced a lot of backlash, such as being beaten, being fired from their jobs, being denied services, being turned down loans, being casted out. And not only from like the white community, because it was already cast out, even being casted out from the black community, because for some black people, they didn't want to ruffle the feathers, they didn't want to bite the hand that's feeding them, whatever the fuck. So it caused a divide within our community, and then also a divide within the entire community, because now we have your first name, last name, and your address posted in the courthouse. The fuck? I tell you, these niggas be knowing what they doing. They know what they doing. But speaking of the backlash, Delaney, the reverend, I keep calling him an attorney, but the reverend that actually like brought this case to the NAACP, he was like threatened by 6 white people, and the only reason he made it out of that situation, because they were going to kill him. They were trying to kill him. He had to basically pretend he had a gun in his pocket, and he jumped in the trunk of a supporter that just so happened to be driving by. So if that supporter hadn't been driving by, he probably would have actually died that day. And this is the guy that brought the case to the fucking NAACP, that brought it to the courts. Like, he saw firsthand. So on May 16, 1950, that case was filed, and it's Briggs v. Elliott. Elliott comes from R.W. Elliott, which is like the president of the school board. I believe it was Clarendon County School Board. Yeah, that was the president. That's where the Elliott comes from. Now, or that's where the Elliott comes from. Why am I messing myself up? But Briggs comes from the very first name that signed the petition. Just like the other cases, it's always kind of like the first person that signed the petition. In this case, like I said, was not fighting for just one bus. We are fighting segregation now. Why did you try me? Now I have to show you. Now, the judge that this was brought before, Judge Jay Waring, he decided, you know what? I want y'all to actually pursue desegregation. So he dropped that case and told them, I need y'all to refile, and I need on the papers to say that you're fighting segregation. And they did just that. All right, then. But this time the NAACP decided to just put 20 names on the petition just to like stop some of the backlash, because 107 fucking names is crazy. And that's 107 targets. So they decided, okay, we'll put 20 names. And that was refiled December 22nd of 1950. Now, this ended up with 3 judges on the panel, and they didn't say that they were going to end segregation. They said they needed to start equalization. That fucking word. This means that the courts agreed that the schools were inferior to white schools, but instead of putting the schools together,